Oh, camera's a little blurry. Hold up. All right, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Nice little Monday slate. Happy Monday to everyone. Hope you guys had a good day today. We had a 7-game slate tonight to break down. Appreciate all you guys being here as always. I know wasn't live yesterday. Kind of took the day off. Normally Sundays are the days I kind of don't stream. Usually don't make videos on Sundays either. But glad to be back with you guys talking through this slate. Appreciate all you being here as always. What's up, Iceman? What's up, JB? Appreciate you being here, man. Jimbo Fisher says, so many game time decisions right now. Injury concerns make it tough to build a lineup. Yeah, I feel you there. Especially like all the question marks tonight are in the late night games. Like Embiid plays at 10 o'clock. Kawhi and PG play at 10 o'clock. I think there's another one. Or Embiid plays at 9, but yeah. A lot of question marks in the late night games. I'd assume we get an update probably, when they release the 5:30 injury report. We might get an update on Embiid and PG. I assume Kawhi's going to play. I'm pretty sure the reason he sat out last night was because so he could play today. No, my God, let's get it. Hope you're doing well and warm. -11 here in Colorado. Damn, I feel bad for you, man. Yeah, it's pouring right now. It's pretty cold here as well. It's like cold. It's like 40 and it's raining. Hopefully my power doesn't go out or anything. It's raining pretty hard outside right now. Randall versus Mitchell. Who will score more points? Talking about fantasy points, I'd probably go Randall there. Fantasy points. Hit the like button, guys. Yeah, hit the like button, everyone. Appreciate all you being here as always. Every time you come into the stream, I'd appreciate it if you just hit that like button. That's all I ask, man. Likes help out the stream. They help to grow the stream. Lets more people get in here. Helps the stream do better in the algorithm. So that way the stream reaches more people. So yeah, hit the like button. Always appreciate the likes. Snow in Texas, not used to this. Yeah, I saw there was a lot of people from Texas that are like crazy. The snow is crazy there right now. There's some famous people. I don't want to say famous, but there's like streamers I watch that live in Texas, and the snow's like really big there right now. What do you think about Drummond possibly going to the Raptors? Yeah, I saw that. I want your guys' thoughts on this. So, do you think Drummond actually helps a team get better? I personally think like having Andre Drummond on your team really like your chances of winning games with Andre Drummond versus without him, like it doesn't change much. So I don't think these teams should be giving up a shit ton to get Andre Drummond. That's just my opinion. I want your guys' opinion. Like, do you think Drummond actually helps a team win in the end? Like, there's just so many other centers that you can have that. Like, I'd give me Jared Allen over Andre Drummond. I mean, I'd rather have Jared Allen on my team. I think he can do just as the same thing that Andre Drummond does. And if you were to trade for him, I mean, you obviously wouldn't have to give up as much. I mean, yeah, if Drummond goes to the Raptors, that's probably going to make him a little better, but I don't really think their chances of like winning a title increase with Andre Drummond at center. Drummond's a weakness. I mean, yeah, like I don't think he really helps your team that much. I think he's just one of those guys that can stuff the stat sheet, but in the end, he's not really helping a team win. -6 here in KC. Ooh. Usually if it gets below 30, that's pretty bad in South Carolina. Lately, it's been pretty damn cold. It was like 33 or 32 on Saturday. It was raining too. It was cold then. I couldn't even deal with that. If it was negative here, oh my gosh. I hate the cold weather to begin with. Hate the cold weather. Patrick Williams in play on Yahoo for $15. Lots of minutes at least. Him or Kelly O, TJA or Green, all the same range. Thanks, Noah. Hoping to get back to a win today. I think between those guys, Corey, I'd probably take Jeff Green. Just because I like the game environment, fast-paced game, should have a ton of points scored there. I think right now that game does have the highest total on the slate. Without Kevin Durant, Jeff Green does have a path to 30-plus minutes, and he's shown some upside. With DeAndre Jordan coming back, maybe that hurts Green a little bit, but I still would probably go Jeff Green there. What's up, Noah? Scored 319 last night. Thanks to your help. 20 points from a takedown. Let's get it. Let's get it tonight. By the way, -15 in Nebraska. Jesus. Hey, but that's awesome, David. Glad you had a good night last night. Where's the hat at, my brother? You look different without the hat. Yeah, it's just in the closet. I was going to go grab it, but I was like, screw it. Likes Eagles Popeye sponsorship. Yeah, we got to get the likes so we can get that Popeye sponsorship. We're some Popeyes fans over here. Mo Wagner for men's salary, or no, Mo Wagner for men's salary. Drummond make Jarrett a prime play tonight. Yes, so Jarrett Allen I like a lot now that Drummond is not going to play. It's a little bit tougher because on DraftKings, Jarrett Allen's almost 7K. I still like Allen, but he's a little, he's not like a core play, I don't think, at that price tag. But on Yahoo, if you play over on Yahoo, Jarrett Allen is $20 on Yahoo. He's going to be one of the first guys in my lineup. I think he's a top play on Yahoo. He was my number one ranked play for Yahoo today. And Wagner I do have interest in, especially on DraftKings. So Wagner actually started on Sunday, which is something that I didn't realize because I really wasn't paying attention to this game. It wasn't on the Sunday main slate. But Wagner did start Sunday against Boston, and he played 22 minutes, had 24 DK points. Alex Lynn did not play at all. He was a DMP. If Mo Wagner starts again, he's a pretty productive player when he's on the floor. For 3,200, I'd like him quite a bit. There's some issues here. Will he get 20-plus minutes again? I don't know. Could he get in foul trouble against Boogie Cousins? Absolutely, but he's such a productive player, or at least a good enough productive player that if he's starting at 3,200, he's a top value play. I don't think you need to go there on Yahoo, though, because you have Noel for just a couple dollars more. Jarrett Allen looks like a top center option on Yahoo, so not as interested in Wagner there. Jetty Osman, 3.3K. Yeah, I like Jetty Osman as well. I think him and Wagner look like two of the best punt plays right now. I think without Andre Drummond, that should help Jetty Osman get more minutes. He got 25 last game against the Clippers on Sunday when Drummond was out. His minutes have been all over the place this year, but I think if he comes off the bench and he's playing well, they will definitely give him more minutes than Taurean Prince. Last game, Taurean Prince only played 20 minutes. I'm willing to take a shot on Osman at only 3,300. Even if he only plays 20 minutes and he gives you maybe 18, 20 points, he's not killing your lineup. Obviously, you're not going to win a tournament with 18 from Jetty Osman, but he's not going to kill your lineup. At 3,300, I'm willing to take a shot on him tonight. Him and Wagner, just so I can get in those extra studs. I do like Osman quite a bit. I think he is, definitely in play at 3,300. If he was 4,300, it'd be a different story. But at 3,300, oh yeah, I'm willing to go there for sure. Currently watching on my phone with no power in Texas. I feel bad for you, man. I know it's pretty cold, so I hope you're staying warm there, Spencer. I'm happy for Jarrett Allen finally gets a starting role. Yeah, I really like Jarrett Allen. I think he's definitely one of those underrated players that is really good, and people just kind of underrate him. In terms of he's never been an elite defender, against a guy like Embiid. Allen's probably going to get bullied by Joel Embiid, but Allen's a good offensive center. He crashes the boards. He does exactly what you want him to do. They have Baines and Boucher. I think Drummond is better, but it depends what they give up. Exactly. I agree there, Brian. If they give up a lot to get Drummond, I think that's probably a mistake. But if they can get him for, just a little bit, I don't know what they would give up. If they would have to give up players, would they have to give up OG or Powell? I don't know. I don't really, when it comes to trades and stuff, I don't really know much about the salary cap or stuff. But yeah, if they give up a lot for Drummond, that's probably not something I'd do personally. He's an old school center. Yeah, I agree there. Just a guy that's, going to crash the boards. He can get putbacks and stuff, but I don't know if he's really helping your team get better. Centers like Drummond rarely affect winning nowadays. His range is 3 feet around the hoop, and his defense is below average as best. Needs to either expand his range or play D. Yeah, exactly. The top centers today, Jokic and Embiid, they can all shoot threes. They can all, expand the floor. Drummond he can't do that. If he ever develops a three-point shot, he'll definitely be, better. But until he does, I think that's what separates him from some of the top centers in the league. What's the value looking like right now? Got my eyes on Bruce Brown and Wagner. What do you think? Yeah, I like Wagner if he starts again. Bruce Brown, I think, is fine as well if he winds up starting for Kevin Durant. And Jetty Osman, I like as well. With Andre Drummond now out, I think Osman has a path to 24, 25 minutes off the bench, and he's only 3,300, so I'm willing to go to him. JaVale McGee, too. You could definitely take a shot on JaVale McGee. It sucks that you would have to use up one of your two center spots on him, but with no Drummond, obviously McGee's probably going to get 16 to 20 minutes off the bench. He's such a productive point-per-minute player that you could get, 25, 28 DK points from JaVale McGee in 20 minutes. So even him, I think, is fine for GPPs to take a shot on. In cash games, though, I would definitely rather play Wagner, especially if Wagner's starting. I'd rather play him over JaVale. Barrett or Harris or Gallinari, who's a better play? It would be between Harris or Gallo. I think I'd probably go with Gallo. It'd be between those two, though. I'm not the biggest fan of Barrett. Barrett's just been so bad lately. Until we see something from him, he's really hard to trust. Wall, Gordon, Gallo, Sabonis, Noel, Irving, Jeff Green, Wagner. That looks pretty good for now, Cole. Looks pretty good for now. Any interest in Collins or Trae Young? Not much interest. I don't really like much from Atlanta today outside of Gallinari. I think Clint Capella in tournaments is in play because his price has come down a little bit. I have interest in him, but not really on Collins, not really on Trae Young. Definitely not on Trae Young. I just think there's so many other guards I'd rather play today over Trae. Who's your Nets Kings favorites? You talking about like favorite guys to target from that game? Probably be Harden for sure. Harden, Kyrie, Jeff Green on the Brooklyn side, and then on the Kings side, De'Aaron Fox obviously. And if Bagley's out again, I think we can definitely look to Bjelica. Bjelica's been getting good minutes lately with Bagley out, and he's a productive player when he gets minutes, so he'd be a decent value play if Bagley's out again. But obviously that's tough. It's tough to tell right now because that's one of the late night games, so I don't know if we're going to have news on Bagley before lock. You go with either Harden or Irving or both. I mean, you don't have to play either one of them. I think I'm probably going to be playing one of the two. I think I want to try and get in Harden over Kyrie if I can. Without KD, those two guys are just gonna dominate the usage. I'd be very surprised if like both of them don't have good games. I think either one of Harden or Kyrie is definitely putting up at least like 55, close to 60. I think I'd give the edge to Harden, but yeah, both are in play, and you could play both if you want to. I don't know if I'm gonna do that, but you could definitely do it. Hit the like button, guys. Yeah, hit the like button, guys. I appreciate all you being here as always. Hope you guys had a good Monday today. Beal at a good price point tonight? Yeah, he's definitely too cheap. If Westbrook were to have sat, Beal would have been probably my number one play of the day. Now that Westbrook's available and going to play, it's a little bit tougher, but I still think Beal's a good option. At 8,900, between him or like Kyrie, I think I'd probably prefer Kyrie, but it's definitely close. I do like Beal still quite a bit. I definitely play Beal over Westbrook, I think. What do you suggest doing with the Clippers if one or both sits? Yeah, I don't know if we're going to get that news before lock, but if both of them wind up sitting, then Lou Will, Marcus Morris, I like quite a bit. Patrick Beverley, I'd like a lot as well. Beverley's been really good with both Kawhi and PG off the floor, and he kind of is someone that goes overlooked. Like, nobody really ever plays Patrick Beverley, but he can stuff the stat sheet when there's no Kawhi and no PG. Last night, in only 20 minutes, he had 16, 6, and 5 with 2 steals, 36 DK points. 4,500, I definitely would have interest in Beverley. I'd still like Lou Will quite a bit. Marcus Morris would get a boost. If one of them plays, like if Kawhi plays and PG's out, I think Kawhi's viable, but I probably won't be looking to anyone else. And if they both play, I don't think I'm going to anyone on the Clippers. It's so tough, though, because I don't know if we're going to have that news before lock. Like, maybe you leave some spots in your lineup so that you can late swap if you need to. So if they both are out, you have guys to swap to. Trying to get off Jimmy Butler, small forward. Who would you go to in that middle/upper tier? Yeah, small forward sucks tonight. I mean, it's really bad. I think in the mid range, like Kelly Oubre at 6,500, I have interest in. I think Joe Ingles, Joe Harris, Gallo for 4,900. Those are probably going to be the guys I look for, like in the 5K and cheaper. Those would be probably those three, like Joe Ingles, Harris, Gallo, I think are like my favorite small forwards right now. Jetty Osman is small forward eligible too. If you want to punt, I'm totally fine with Jetty Osman at 3,300. Top scorer in a couple of my tourneys had McGee. I didn't know he was still in the league. Yeah, McGee's never going to be a guy that plays big minutes, but when he does get on the floor, man, he can produce, that's for sure. I mean, there was one night he played like 18 minutes and had like 30-something DraftKings points. I mean, he goes out there and he crashes the boards, he gets putbacks, he blocks shots. McGee's got upside when he gets minutes. Whiteside, I don't think I'm going to go to Whiteside. Even if Bagley's out, I don't think I'm going to be on Whiteside. He's not getting the minutes right now. And if Bagley plays, I don't have that much interest in him either. But if Bagley is out, I think Bjelica becomes a decent value. Kawhi Leonard or PG playing tonight? We don't know yet. Right now, their statuses are just to be determined, is what Fantasy Labs tweeted out. They appear to be game time decisions. Yeah, that's what it seems like it. Or that's what seems to be the case. Tyrese Halliburton or Eric Gordon? I'd probably go with Eric Gordon there. Beal, Sabonis, or Irving? Oh, man, that's really tough. I think I'd probably go Sabonis number 1, Kyrie 2, Beal 3, but it's really close, man. I like all three of those guys tonight. But I think I'd take Sabonis there. I was a little late, but what's the verdict on Wall/Westbrook matchup? Yeah, I have no idea. Supposedly, those two hate each other, Wall and Westbrook. I don't know. I didn't know that, but supposedly they have like beef or something. Okoro plus McGee plus Osman, all under 3,500. Too much value from one team. I don't know if I'm going to go to Okoro. Like, I just hate playing Isaac Okoro, man. Like, this dude can literally play 40 minutes and score 12 fantasy points. Like, last game he played 30 minutes, had 19. I mean, I know Jetty Osman's probably going to play less minutes, but I'd rather play Osman. I just think he gives you way more upside. Like, Osman's way more likely to put up over 30 DK points than Okoro is. I'm fine with Osman and McGee, though, because I think both give you upside if they get the minutes. Okoro, though, probably not going to go there. So Osman, McGee, totally fine if you want to go with those two. It's just tough with JaVale McGee because, you have to use up one of your center spots to play him. If McGee was like power forward eligible, I'd have a lot more interest in him. Sexton get a bump with no Drummond. Yeah, he gets a little bump in usage. It's not a crazy bump or anything, but he does become more viable now that Drummond's, going to be out. McDermott, if he plays, is a good value. Yeah, I agree there. I do like Doug McDermott if he's playing. He's another guy that's questionable that we'll have to keep an eye on. Since everyone's paying up at the guard positions, would you play Sabonis and Butler, be considered contrarian? I mean, I built out a dummy lineup earlier. I was able to pay up for John Wall and James Harden, and I still got Sabonis in there. I mean, because there's value at center with Mo Wagner. There's value at forward if you want to take a shot on Jetty Osman. I mean, I don't know if everyone's going to be paying up at guard, really. Sabonis, I don't think is going to be, like, super contrarian. I think Butler will be pretty low owned, but I think Sabonis is going to be at least, like, probably 15, 20% owned. And I still like him, even though he, will have some ownership. You like TLC with no Kevin Durant? I don't know if I can go there. We got to wait and see who starts. If TLC winds up starting, then yeah, he'd be more viable, but I assume it's probably going to be either Bruce Brown or Jeff Green starting. PG or Beal? Give me Bradley Beal. What do you think of Wall, Beal, Brown, Bielitsa, Noel, Mitchell, Nwaba, and Levine? I'm not really on David Nwaba, but the rest looks solid for now. John Wall seems like a hot play tonight. I mean, yeah. Without Victor Oladipo, John Wall gets a bump. It's a revenge game against his former team. It's his first game back in Washington since he left Washington. I don't really look too much into revenge games or anything, but I think Wall's definitely going to come out aggressive tonight, and he's looked really good when he's been on the floor. He's been getting more minutes too. He's going to play probably 35 minutes, 36 minutes tonight if the game stays close. Gets a bump with no Oladipo. I like John Wall quite a bit. Really, really good matchup. Fast-paced game. I mean, there's really not much else to say about Wall. The price came up a little bit, but I still think he's probably a little bit too cheap. What's up, Noah? Cheddar Broccoli soup was bomb the other day. Hey, that'd be good right now for me, definitely. Because it's so cold outside. I'd like some hot soup again. It was really cold Saturday, and it's pretty cold out there today. Sabonis plus Harden and Jeff Green, or Sabonis, Harden, and Gordon. Sabonis. So basically Jeff Green versus Gordon. I mean, I'd go with Eric Gordon. Who you want to play, McDermott or Bertans? I'd take McDermott between those two. I like Bielitsa today. Feel like the Kings would have to go small ball with the Nets, and he would play a lot of center. Yeah, he's been getting good center minutes lately, and he's been playing like 26, 28 minutes. Kawhi and PG are out. Oh, no. Kawhi out, PG out, Beverly out. Well, there we go. Holy crap. That's going to change some things. Oh, man, so it's Lou Will night once again. So 6,400, man, that feels a lot for Lou Will, but he's been so good lately. And he started last night with Kawhi and PG out, too. I think with Patrick Beverly out, that definitely helps Reggie Jackson, too. Reggie Jackson's 4,900. He's not like insanely cheap, but I do have interest in him. I think him and Lou Will both probably play over 30 minutes. Yeah, I think the main targets, though, for me from the Clippers now are definitely going to be Lou Will, Marcus Morris, and Reggie Jackson. But like this whole team, I mean, they're kind of appealing now. Like Ibaka had a really big game last night without Kawhi and PG. He's another guy that can be productive when he gets minutes. Like I don't know if he plays almost 30 minutes again, but if he does, I mean, Ibaka should smash at 5K. Oh, this is tough. Definitely, what's Lou Will's price on? I know Lou Will's still like really cheap on Yahoo. Yeah, Lou Will's $17 on Yahoo. I mean, I'm probably playing Lou Will, like 100%. Going to have Lou Will in on Yahoo. Wow, I did not expect that. I was pretty sure that one of Kawhi or PG were going to play. That's definitely interesting now. So yeah, there's a lot to like from the Clippers. No Kawhi, no PG, no Patrick Beverly. Lou Will, Marcus Morris, Ibaka, Reggie Jackson, I think are all in play. Those four, definitely. I don't think I'm probably won't be going to Batum. Probably won't be going to Terrence Mann. Maybe Terrence Mann would start. I don't think he would. He got 20 minutes last night, but I assume their starting lineup will probably be Lou Will, Reggie, Batum, Ibaka, and then either like Kennard will start or Marcus Morris will start. It'll probably be Kennard. But yeah, those four, Lou Will, Morris, Ibaka, and Reggie Jackson. I think those are the four I'm really looking to from the Clippers now. Lou Will's pricey, but yeah, I mean, we saw last night the upside he has. And like, Lou Will's been so much better lately. He's looked like, the old Lou Will. Like, there was that stretch during the early part of the season where he was just so bad. Like, he wasn't doing anything, just looked rusty, wasn't knocking down shots. And now he's taking a ton of shots. He's been way more aggressive. He's scoring. He's getting assists. I mean, even at 6,400, I like Lou Will quite a bit tonight. Hey, Noah, what a great weekend. Don't screw this up because it's a Monday. Yeah, hopefully we can keep the momentum going. I'm excited for this week. I'm definitely this Clippers news makes it a little bit more of an interesting slate. Now we got some decisions to make. How are we going to prioritize these Clipper guys? Oh, and Taurean Prince is now questionable. Oh, baby, it's Cedi Osman night. Cedi season. Let's go. Oh, man. 3,300, Cedi Osman. If Prince is out, he's a great, great value. Yeah, this is a crazy slate, man. We got a lot of news. It's going to be tough to, prioritize these. How are we going to prioritize these Clipper guys with our studs and with the other value that we have? Because it's not like any of the Clippers guys are like free. I mean, they're all 4K to 6K, but yeah, they get good usage without Paul George and Kawhi, obviously. I wonder if did anyone else pop up? It's just Prince. But yeah, if Prince winds up out, I mean, I already like Cedi Osman. If Prince is out, I mean, Cedi Osman's he's the best value play on the slate, in my opinion. I would assume he starts if Prince is out. Lou better than TJ McConnell for $1 more? Oh yeah, 100%. I prefer Lou now, 100%. I'm gonna have to go add all those Clippers guys to my rankings and stuff on Patreon in a second after I end the stream. That definitely changes things now that Kawhi and PG are both out. I didn't expect that. I thought one of them was going to play for sure. Is Oubre likely to have a good game? I mean, yeah, like he's got upside, but now that we have other plays opening up from the Clippers, I think I'm going to probably prefer the Clippers guys over like Kelly Oubre. It's like Oubre for 6,500 or Lou Will for 6,400. Give me Lou Will now. Brogdon, Mitchell, Bam, Butler, or Simmons. Give me Donovan Mitchell there between those five. Have you done FanDuel yet? I don't really play on FanDuel, Royal King. I mean, I have an account, but I just don't really play there much. I mean, right now my focus is just Draftkings and Yahoo. Those are the two sites I play on mainly. Beal or Fox, GPP single entry. I take De'Aaron Fox. Randall or Sabonis. Yeah, that's a really close one for me. I think right now I probably lean Julius Randle, or I'd probably lean Sabonis over Randall. It's close though. I think both, if you can pay with power forward. And now that there's more value opening up, Randall and Sabonis are both really good plays. I think I'd go with Sabonis, though. Love this show. Hey, I'm glad to hear that, man. I'm glad to hear that. Hit the like button. Yeah, hit the like button for me, guys. Appreciate all you being here, as always. Gallo or Morris for $11. Yeah, that's another tough one. Earlier on in the day, I think I would have preferred Gallo. Now it's close. So last night, without Kawhi and PG, Marcus Morris had a pretty good game, too. He played a good amount of minutes. Played 26 minutes, had 39 fantasy points. He was really hot from the field, but yeah, between Marcus Morris or Gallo, oh man, that's close. I think I'm probably going to prefer Marcus Morris now, but it's so tough. I think I'm going to prefer Marcus Morris though, especially if he winds up starting. I don't know if he's going to. I don't think he would, but if he would, yeah, that would definitely make me like him more than Gallo. Beal or Butler, if both Clips are out, I mean, yeah, we already got word they're out. So obviously, with Kawhi and PG out, it becomes a better matchup for, someone like Jimmy Butler. But I don't know if it affects him too much, and to where I'd still probably take Bradley Beal over Butler. Gallinari or McDermott, I think I'd probably go with Gallo there. Is Derrick Rose playable? I love rostering him because I love him. I mean, he's been good when he's on the floor. But he's just not getting enough minutes, I don't think. He's been good on a point per minute basis so far this year with the Knicks, but his minutes haven't been that high. 23 last game, 20 the game before that, 20 the game before that. He's probably just going to play 20 to 22 minutes. I mean, you need him to be really productive on a per-minute basis. So, like, for example, Reggie Jackson's the same price tag. I'd much rather play Reggie Jackson now that Kawhi and PG and Beverly are all out. Give me Reggie Jackson all day over Derrick Rose. I mean, Reggie Jackson, like, we saw this scenario, when was it? It was, whenever Kawhi, PG, and Beverly were all out. Kawhi and PG were out for COVID issues, and then Beverly was out with an injury. Like, Reggie Jackson's price got up to, like, $7K at one point. Like, there was that stretch where he was putting up, like, massive games every night. I know Lou Will wasn't playing as good then, but honestly, the most underpriced Clipper guy tonight probably is Reggie Jackson. On DraftKings, he's probably my favorite at $4,900. I like all these Clippers guys, though. What's Reggie Jackson's price on Yahoo? Yeah, oh, man, he's $13. Let's see, Lou Will. Like, if you just play Lou Will, Reggie, and, like, Marcus Morris on Yahoo, I mean, if you play those three, like, you got a ton of salary to work with. You got $31 per player. And that's without playing, like Noel or Jared Allen. I mean, it's going to be hard to not play at least like a couple Clippers on Yahoo with how they're priced. On Yahoo, I think Lou Will's my favorite because he's still probably too cheap, but I like all those guys now. Ibaka, I probably won't play Ibaka on Yahoo. I know he's still cheap as well, but if I can find $3, I'd rather play Jared Allen over Ibaka. Yeah, tough to get away from these Clippers guys now. I think, when you have two of the highest usage players on the team out, like, somebody's going to have to produce. I know their prices are up, but I could still see Lou Will putting up a big game. I could see Reggie Jackson have a good game for his salary. Marcus Morris, I think, still has upside. Ibaka has plenty of upside if he gets the minutes. So, yeah, I like those Clippers now. De'Aaron Fox sat the entire fourth quarter last night. We couldn't figure out if he was on a minutes limit because it wasn't a terrible blowout. Do you think there's risk to rostering Fox? I think it was kind of on the verge of being a blowout. So, at the end of the fourth quarter, they were down by like 20. And I guess Lou Walton decided not to bring the starters in. I know the Grizzlies brought all their starters back in, but then they pulled them again. They pulled them out with like 2 or 3 minutes left. I mean, I don't think there was any, because there wasn't any minutes limit on Fox. They like all the starters didn't play in the fourth quarter, I don't think. Like Holmes only played like 20-something minutes. Fox didn't get his fourth quarter run. I don't think like any of the other starters played in the fourth. I wouldn't be worried about that for tonight at least. Your favorite forward filler for 4,800 or below? I mean, even not knowing the status of Taurean Prince, especially if Taurean Prince winds up out, I mean, Jetty Osman's going to be my favorite value at forward, 3,300. Any love for Boogie? Yeah, I think Boogie's definitely in play. I think he's going to go overlooked. He's going to be low owned. If you want to play him on the slate in tournaments, I think he definitely has plenty of upside in a good matchup against Washington. It's just so tough because we have good value at center with Wagner if he starts. Nerlens Noel's still cheap. You could obviously pay up for like Embiid or even like Sabonis. Randall are all center eligible. But yeah, I do like Boogie in tournaments. I think he's for sure going to be probably less than 15, maybe 10% owned at the highest, I'd say. You like Royce O'Neal? Not really. I don't think. This is a slate where I'm going to be playing Royce O'Neal. Clippers game is a back-to-back. Should we take that into consideration, rostering old guys like Lou Will and Ibaka? I mean, they rested Patrick Beverly. I feel like if they were going to limit Lou Will or Ibaka, they would have rested them too. So with Lou Will and Ibaka not on the injury report, I'm going to assume they're full go. Especially since Beverly's also out. Like, they're just so thin now. Like, the only guards they have are Lou Will, Mann, and Reggie Jackson, really. I mean, I know Kennard's kind of a guard, but not really like a ball handler. I'm playing Lou Will probably, especially on Yahoo. I'm for sure playing Lou Will on Yahoo. I don't know yet if I'm going to play him on DK at his price. Just kind of have to wait and see. Lou Will or Eric Gordon? I think now I'm probably going to lean Lou Will over Eric Gordon. Beal or Mitchell? Give me Bradley Beal over Mitchell. NASCAR took a chunk from me yesterday. I don't play NASCAR. I can't really say anything there. Kawhi out and PG, who's the top play from the Clippers? I mean, if you rewind the stream, Alvin, we already discussed it, but I think my 4 favorite guys from the Clippers now are Lou Will, Marcus Morris, Ibaka, and Reggie Jackson. I think those are the 4 guys I like most from LA. But just keep an eye on the starting lineup. Like, if Terrence Mann winds up starting, then he becomes playable. If Luke Kennard starts, he could become viable, but I think those are the 4 I'm really looking to. Who's the best forward at 5,500? It's probably Joe Harris. I think he's 5,400. So, yeah, I'd probably go Joe Harris there. You like Taj Gibson back in Noel for 3,300? I don't think so. If Wagner starts, I'm going to prefer Wagner at 3,200. I'd probably even play JaVale McGee over Taj Gibson, honestly. What's a good place to get injury news? Jay, you need to make a Twitter account and follow Fantasy Labs on Twitter. Follow at Fantasy Labs NBA. They tweet out lineups, questionable guys. I mean, they tweet out everything you need to know. You can also, there's also apps that send out notifications and stuff. So if you want to get those apps, you can. Like Roto Grinders, they do NBA alerts. You can download their app, turn on NBA alerts, and they'll notify you whenever players, get ruled out, whatever starting lineups come out and stuff. Plenty of ways to get your news, but I think Twitter is probably the best way, honestly. I'm basically on Twitter like from when I start making my lineup at like 5 o'clock Eastern, when I get off the stream till lock time. I'm making my lineups and I'm checking Twitter, just staying up to date with the news. Who are some cheap players you could have a big game? And we've talked about some values I like. If Wagner starts, I like him. Now that Taurean Prince is questionable, I already had interest in Jetty Osman with Drummond out, but I think I'd like, Osman would be probably the best value play on the slate if Taurean Prince is out. So Osman, Wagner, those are two values I like. How do you rank Clippers must plays with all the injuries? I mean, yeah, we've already discussed like the four that I really like. Reggie, Ibaka, Marcus Morris, and Lou Will. I think on DraftKings, Reggie's my favorite with his price being as low as it is. Westbrook or Fox? I think give me De'Aaron Fox there. Only thing about Taj, he is power forward eligible. That's why I asked, but yeah, I wouldn't play him at center. Yeah, that makes sense, Brian. Even so, I think I'd still probably take Jetty Osman at the same price as Taj. And Jetty Osman you can play at power forward. Especially if Prince is out, 100% going to take Osman there. Embiid status, he's still questionable. Who's the best center to play on DK single entry? I mean, it all comes down to your roster construction. If you want to pay down, I think Wagner looks like a good value. If he starts, I think Nerlens Noel's a good value. But if you can pay up, I mean, Embiid's probably going to be low owned, so you could pay up for Embiid if you want someone that's low owned that has upside. I think Clint Capella should be low owned. Boogie should be lower owned. They all have upside. It just really comes down to your roster construction. Marcus Morris, a great play today. I mean, I like him now that Kawhi and PG are both out. I think Marcus Morris is definitely in play. What site do you use to check player usage when certain players are out on a team? I use Roto Grinders Court IQ. Just go to Roto Grinders and go to their NBA section, click on Court IQ, and you can pull up the usage charts. Basically, whenever a player's out, you can just go to the team, take those players off the court, and you can see, what player's usage is when that player's off the court. It's very easy. It doesn't take long at all. I can probably pull it up right now if you want me to. I have a little bookmark here. Court IQ. I'll let it load real quick. Osman and Jared Allen on Yahoo tonight. Yeah, I'm totally fine with both those guys. I don't know if Osman's going to be as necessary because there's so many other underpriced guys on Yahoo. There's so many other value plays, but definitely Jared Allen's one of my favorite plays on Yahoo. 100% going to be playing Jared Allen. Blake bench, think there's a trade in the works. I mean, yeah, it's possible. It seems weird that they would just bench Blake and not play him. I mean, they're going to probably trade him or something. I mean, I'm sure he probably wants out of Detroit by now. But yeah, this is what it looks like. I forgot who asked that question. Parth, this is what Roto Grinders Court IQ looks like. You pick a team, so we can do the Clippers. Go to the Clippers. We know Kawhi's out, so we can take Kawhi off the floor. We know PG's out, so we can take PG off the floor. And we know Patrick Beverley's also out, so we can take him off the floor. And then we can run the Curry. So with all three of those guys off the floor, it shows you this season how many minutes they've played. So let's look at Lou Will. So he's played 140 minutes with all three of those guys off the floor. Lou Will has almost a 30% usage rate, averages 1.2 fantasy points per minute. Ibaka, been really, really good, averages 1.37 fantasy points per minute, has a 27% usage rate. Marcus Morris, 1.10 fantasy points per minute. Reggie Jackson's averaged about a fantasy point per minute, so yeah. Ibaka's been really productive. It's just, how many minutes are they going to give Ibaka? That's the big question. I do expect Ibaka to be very productive when he's on the floor. I just don't know if he's going to play, close to 30 minutes like he did last night. That's what makes it a bit risky. Would you play Westbrook over Beal? I think I'd give the edge to Beal, especially since he's cheaper. You like Harris over Morris? I think I'm probably going to prefer Marcus Morris now over Joe Harris. Great work, Noah. 5 a.m. here in Philippines. Still watching your breakdown. Good stuff. Hey, I appreciate you tuning in, man. Early as hell, but I appreciate you being here. Second center on Yahoo, $20 and under. I mean, if you don't have Jared Allen, I'd play Jared Allen, but I think, Nerlens Noel for $12 looks really good. Can you look up Terrence Mann? Yeah, here's Terrence Mann's number. He's played a good amount. He's played 203 minutes with all those guys off the floor. Obviously not much of a high usage player, but he has averaged 0.73 fantasy points per minute. Mann, I don't know how productive he's going to be when he's on the floor, but if he winds up starting, I think he would definitely be in play, 100%. Beal, Green, or Lou Sabonis? Give me Lou and Sabonis. Vincent Jackson just passed away? Oh, man. Damn. Investigating the death of former Tampa Bay player Vincent Jackson, found deceased on Monday, February 15th. Oh, hell. Oh, that's brutal, man. Damn. That sucks. R.I.P. Vincent Jackson. Jesus. Frank Mason just got waived. Yeah, I just saw that. Damn. Poor Frank Mason. Played, like 2 games or something, and he's gone. What's a good cheap option at 3,800 or under at 4 that's not Osman? Let's see. I mean, there's not much down here. Like, if TLC winds up starting, you can maybe play him. Even if he comes off the bench, he could be in play. I guess Isaac Okoro you could look to. I mean, he's probably going to play 30-plus minutes. He's not that productive of a player, but the minutes will be there. So, yeah, it'd be one of those 2 guys, I guess, not named Osman. 22, 25 minutes for Ibaka. I mean, yeah, that feels about right. I think he could play more if he's playing well like he did last night. If he gets close to 30 minutes, I mean, Ibaka should smash 100%. Why the Magic released Frank Mason when they got nobody healthy? I mean, I'm sure Cole Anthony and Fournier are going to be back at some point. They're probably going to be back next game. I bet they probably released Frank Mason because they know Anthony's going to be back next game, or he's going to be back soon. I mean, Mason was still hurt as well. Kawhi, PG, and Pat out tonight. Lou Will and Morris, lock button. I mean, yeah, I like both quite a bit now. Bam on Yahoo. I don't know if I can get to Bam on Yahoo. I think I'd rather play like Jared Allen, Noel. There's just so many other centers I like on Yahoo today. And definitely those 2 for sure. Even Ibaka I have interest in now. You like DeAndre Jordan in utility over Noel? I'd prefer Noel. You have a max number of players you choose from the same team. I mean, it's all slate dependent. Like, if there's ever a team that has a ton of value from the team, then I'm fine playing, 3-4 guys from one team. Normally, I never play like 5 guys from one team. It would have to be a crazy situation for me to play like 5 guys from the same team. Usually 4 is like the max for me. I don't think I'm going to have like 4 Clippers tonight, but I think 3 is definitely fine. Who you like on Houston today with Oladipo being out? I think John Wall and Eric Gordon are the 2 guys I'm looking to first. I think Boogie's still in play for tournaments because of the upside he has, but definitely Wall and Gordon I like most from Houston. Just tuning in. How you doing, Noah? Let's get some money tonight. Hey, let's get it, Dylan. Appreciate you being here, man. I'm doing pretty well. Hope you're doing good too. Beal or Fox? Yeah, that's a close one. I think I'm probably prefer De'Aaron Fox, but it's close between him and Beal. Ingles or Harris? Give me Joe Harris. Yeah, give me Harris. That's close too. 6,400 for Util and DK. Who's the best pick? I think Lou Will is 6,400, so probably take him. And if you already have Lou Will, then Eric Gordon I think is also 6,400, so you could go with him. 5.7K for that's not Morris or Gallinari. It's probably going to be Joe Ingles for me. Either Joe Ingles or Joe Harris. Ingles is 5,700. Harris is 5,400. I think I'd probably still prefer Harris, like I said earlier, but yeah, it'd be one of those 2 guys. Wagner or Noel? I mean, straight up, I prefer Noel, but like on DraftKings, Wagner's like $1,200 cheaper. If they were the same price, I would definitely play Noel. I think given the savings, Wagner maybe looks a little bit better. On Yahoo, though, there's only a $2 difference between Wagner and Noel on Yahoo, so I think I'd prefer Noel there. Who would you prefer as captain for Showdown lineup with the Washington game? I mean, I've said this before, I don't really play Showdown. If I was playing it, I'd probably like captain Beal or John Wall. Maybe you could punt captain with like Wagner. I don't know what his price is in Showdown if he starts. Who would you prefer between Morris or Harris? 2 Clippers already in. I think I'd probably still take Marcus Morris. I'm fine playing 2 or 3 Clippers tonight, especially like on Yahoo where they're still all cheap. On DraftKings, you could still play. Like, I could still see playing Morris, Reggie Jackson, and Lou Will in the same lineup. I think that's fine. Jazz defense may cause trouble to Sixers, may be blowout, may not want to get expensive players. I mean, yeah, I don't really like much from that game anyway. Like, really, if Embiid plays, the only guy I like from Philly is Embiid. I don't really like anyone else. If Embiid's out, though, that's going to be another crazy thing that we'll have to figure out. What are we going to do with the Sixers players if Embiid gets ruled out? I assume he'll play, but I guess we'll have to see. Had one more. Would you pay up for Embiid in a tough matchup against the Jazz? Yeah, like I said, I mean, if I was going to play anyone from the Sixers, it would be him. He's going to be low-owned on this slate for sure, especially since he's questionable. But I don't know if I'm going to get to Embiid tonight. I just think there's so many other centers I'd rather play. Is Draymond Green playing? He's probable. He's expected to play. Good luck tonight. Thanks as always. Hey, good luck, Cole. Appreciate you being here, man. Good luck tonight. You like TJ McConnell as the last piece? Yeah, I'm totally fine with TJ McConnell. You know, he was a core play in my early core. I don't think he's going to be a core play now because we have so many other guys opening up. But yeah, like as a last piece in, totally fine with TJ McConnell. He's been getting the minutes lately, and he's a productive player when he does get minutes, and it's a good matchup against the Bulls. So yeah, definitely fine with McConnell. Wagner, a huge play. I mean, Wagner, he's super cheap, and he started last game, played 22 minutes. If he starts again, I assume he gets probably 22, 24 minutes, and he's super cheap, so he's a productive player, too, when he does get minutes. I'm going to like him as a value if he's starting. And luckily, that's one of the first games of the night, so we'll know the Wizards' starting lineup before lock. Reggie Jackson or McConnell? Oh, man, yeah, that's a close one now. I think, honestly, I'm probably going to prefer Reggie Jackson now over McConnell. But that's definitely close. I think Reggie Jackson's underpriced, especially now that Beverly's out. Like, Beverly was probably going to play 20, 22 minutes. Now we're going to have to give those minutes to somebody else. I think we might get like 34, 35 minutes from Reggie Jackson. And without Paul George, without Kawhi, he should, average about a fantasy point per minute. That's what he's done this year with those guys off the floor. Curry in play tonight, looking at games following bad performances from 3. He usually lights it up from 3 the next game. I mean, he's another one of those studs, kind of like Embiid, that's going to be really low owned. So if you want to play Curry in tournaments for low ownership, you can. I just think there's, other guards I'd rather play. Give me Harden, Kyrie, Beal, Fox, even Westbrook. Like, give me all those guys over Curry tonight. I don't know if I'm going to be going to Curry on this slate. Really appreciate, here. You're the only dude I take time out to listen to live here every day. Thanks and good luck to all of us. Hey, I appreciate that, David. Appreciate you being here, man. Good luck tonight. Reggie should play 35-plus minutes if it's a close game. Yeah, I agree. I think he's definitely going to get probably 33, 34 minutes feels like, a good projection. He could play more. Please don't kill Steph Curry. Hey, well, lately, whenever I've played Curry, he's been bad. So I'm not playing Curry tonight, so this will probably be the night that he goes off. So, Roscoe, you probably want to play Curry then. If I'm not playing Curry, you probably want to play him because I haven't been able to get him right at all this year. Waller, Mitchell, give me... I mean, if you have the salary, I guess you could play Mitchell, but I still really like John Wall there. Ingles or Bojan, give me Ingles. Ibaka or Allen, give me Jared Allen. Harden, a lock. I mean, I wouldn't say he's a lock, but especially now that there's more value opening up, it should be pretty easy to get to Harden, and I think he is one of the better pay-up options on this slate. So, yeah, I definitely like Harden. Gordon is a must. Sit Lou tonight. I mean, they haven't said that they're sitting Lou, so I don't know. I'm still playing Lou. Like, I'm definitely playing him on Yahoo. I don't know about DraftKings yet, but I'm for sure playing Lou at his Yahoo salary. Is playing Lou Will, Morris, and Reggie all in one lineup okay? Yeah, I said it earlier, Dylan. I'm fine with that. Especially because, Reggie's still pretty cheap. Lou Will, he's kind of priced up, but Lou Will and, Morris are still pretty cheap. You could definitely get 6x from all those guys tonight, and I would not be surprised. When I go head-to-head, I go 5-5. Is that norm, or am I a scrub? Like, if you're playing, like you're saying, you play 10 head-to-heads over 10 days and you go 5-5, I mean, that's not bad. You're basically breaking even. You're a little bit in the red because of the rate, but I mean, that's not bad, Jazz Bass, or Jazz Bass Base, or whatever. I mean, that's not bad. Is probably has been answered, but Beal versus Fox. I think I'd give the edge to Fox, but it's close. I'm going full fade on Wall now. Kyrie and Harden lock button. Hey, do you, man. Go ahead. To anyone new here, I've listened to many doing what Noah does, and I must say Noah's by far the best. Hey, I appreciate that, Alan. Look, there's a lot of guys out there that you know what they're doing. They're really smart. But, I appreciate all the compliments. I feel like I'm, pretty informative as well. I can help you guys out. So thank you for being here, Alan. Appreciate the kind words. Tate or Toscano Anderson? I'm not a big fan of either one on this slate. I think I'd probably go with Toscano Anderson, though, if I had to pick one. You like Batum? I mean, yeah, Batum gets a bump as well with Kawhi and PG out, but I think his upside, like Batum doesn't have the upside that Reggie has, that Ibaka has, that even Marcus Morris has. So I'd prefer all those guys over Batum, I think. Is Noel a great value again? Yeah, I still like Noel quite a bit. He started last game, played 32 minutes. I think he starts again and probably plays over 30 minutes. He's still cheap. It's a good matchup against the Hawks. Noel is definitely someone I'll be looking to. Opinion on multi-entry like 10 versus 150. Thanks. Keep up the good work. I appreciate that, Alex. So multi-entry, I mean, it all depends. Like, if you can play 150 lineups, then sure, you could you could play 150 lineups in whatever contest you want. If you have access to an optimizer, you can do that. But I normally I used to hand build like 10, 20 lineups. Lately, I've just been playing one lineup, but you can hand build 10, 20 lineups and put them like in 20 max contests. That's fine. It's all up to you. Like, it's all up to how you can do it. If you have access to an optimizer, then yeah, play 150 lineups if you have the bankroll to do it. Or even you don't have to have the bankroll. I mean, you can play in the mini max. Like, the mini max is a quarter to enter. You can play, or a 50 cent to enter. You can play 150 lineups in the mini max, and it costs $75 to max enter. Kyrie or Fox? I think I'd probably give the edge to Fox, but it's pretty close between those two. Like, Fox, Kyrie, Beal, I think are all really good plays tonight, and they all project so similarly. You're the best NBA DFS YouTuber. Every other channel pisses me off. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Alan. Why do they piss you off? I mean, I feel like, I don't know what I would do that doesn't piss you off. When it comes to looking for a good lineup, which one do you look more at, floor or ceiling? What's the difference from GPP and cash? I mean, at this point, like, ceiling is the big thing. Like, we're getting to a point where, getting 5x from a player is it's not going to get the job done. Like, you need to get big games from, like, DFS is just so much different than it used to be. Like, 4 or 5 years ago, you could get 5x from a guy and be okay. Now you need to get, close to 6x from almost every player. So, getting 15 from a 3K guy is not going to get the job done. So I really look for ceiling. Like, I want roster guys that I know can go for 6, 7x. So, yeah. Like, I don't think floor is really as important as it used to be. Even if you're playing cash, like, floor's just not. It's all about, what your guy projects for at their price tag. Projections are what really matters in cash games. You just want to be playing the best projected lineup that you can. And you don't really care about floor or ceiling. Sexton, Buddy, or Allen? Give me Jared Allen. What's the best value of the slate? I mean, right now, Mo Wagner looks like a good value if he starts. If Taurean Prince is out, I think Jetty Osman becomes one of the best value plays on the slate. So, a couple guys I'd like. Single entry is the best contest if you ask me. Yeah, if you're playing one lineup, single entry is, the way to go. My Jazz looking really good this year. Also, my boy Mitchell from my college team, Louisville. Who's your team, Noah? I'm a Lakers fan. I've always been a LeBron fan, so whatever team LeBron plays for, I don't know if that's bandwagon or not, but whatever team LeBron plays for, that's usually the team I'm a fan of, so Lakers fan. You give it an excellent overall foundation for the slate each night for us to make our decisions for them. That's what I try and do, man. At the end of the day, I know there's going to be people that just, plug in my early core, fill out the last 3 spots, and then that's their lineup for the day. They can do that, but yeah, I try and just give my thoughts on the slate, and you can take it how you want. You can take what I say and run with it. You can ignore everything I say, but yeah, I just try and give my thoughts, and for those people that want to listen, they can. You're honestly the best channel I've come across when it comes to DFS. Thank you for all your content. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that. I love you. Hey, Carlo, I appreciate that. I don't want to say I love you too, but I appreciate that, man. They're just so unorganized when they talk about the slate. I don't know. I mean, hell, I come in here and I don't really talk about the slate. I just answer questions. But I guess I get what you're saying. I know there's guys out there like in their live stream they do like slate they break down the slate again. I don't really want to do that. I'd rather just answer questions for an hour than do another full slate breakdown. I feel like people really don't care about that. They just want to have their questions answered. So that's what I do. I think I'm going Wall, Mitchell, Joe Harris, Osman, Noel, Harden, Bielitsa, Lou Will. That's solid for now. As a new DFS player, just been entering the 10 cent, 25 cent tourneys where you can enter 20 lineups in each and been making small profits. I'd recommend that if you're new. Oh yeah, that's a great way to go. If you have the funds to play 20 lineups in the quarter arcade, that is a great way to start. And if you have the time or you're able to build out 20 lineups, that's a great way to start. Davis should have never played. Now he's out 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, I was watching that game and I saw he got injured. Damn. They probably just need to shut his ass down. Just get him healthy for the playoffs, honestly. That's called bandwagon? You think so? I mean, I've heard some other people say that they're like that too. I mean, I've always been the big LeBron fan, since he came into the league. I mean, he's my favorite player. So, I mean, that's just how it is, man. I guess when LeBron retires, then I'll have to make a decision who I'm going to pull for. But while LeBron's in the league, I'm a big fan of whatever team he plays for. Like JaVale McGee at almost min price, do you think he can get you there? I mean, yeah, McGee is such a productive player when he gets minutes that even if he only gets 16, 18 minutes behind Allen tonight, he could still get 20, 25 DK points. So I'm fine with JaVale McGee. It's just, there's so many other centers now that have opened up. Ibaka, Mo Wagner I still like, Nerlens Noel, Jared Allen. A little bit tougher to get to McGee, but he's definitely viable. Wall, Cousins, or Harden, McGee? Probably go Wall and Cousins there. Some of them talk way too fast. Most of the videos are just a big advertisement for their Patreon, and that's gross. I mean, I advertise my Patreon too. I used to have a problem with talking fast at the beginning. I've tried to slow down a little bit. Lou Will, Draymond, JaVale, or Mitchell, Bruce, Brown, and Kennard? Lou Will, Draymond, JaVale, Mitchell, Bruce, Brown. Probably the first one, Lou Will, Draymond, and JaVale. You still like TJ McConnell now that Reggie Jackson's in play? I think, like I said earlier, Oscar, I think I'd give the edge to Reggie now over TJ McConnell, but both are in play for sure. I know you don't do FanDuel, but I might switch to Draftkings because I've won money on FanDuel, but not too much because never know to play players who start games early or not. I mean, I don't think that really matters. You don't have to play guys in the early games. Just play who you want. Just play the best plays. Play who you like, and if they all come from the early games, then so be it. It doesn't really matter what time players play. Be yourself. Keep it real. That is your appeal, Noah. I appreciate that, Justin. That's what I try and do, man. Try and get up here and just be myself. MJ or LeBron? I hate to answer this question because I'm only 21 years old. I wasn't really around during the MJ era, or I didn't really know basketball then. I mean, LeBron's the greatest player that I've ever seen play basketball, but I didn't get to watch MJ, so I don't really know. I hate when young people my age try and say MJ's better than LeBron. How do you even know? You weren't around when MJ was playing, or you weren't smart enough to know what he was doing. You were 4 or 5 years old. Since I've been a big fan of basketball and been watching basketball, LeBron's the best player I've ever seen. McGee and Osman have the blessing. I mean, yeah, I like Osman. If Taurean Prince is out, I think Osman's a great value. You got to be a fan of the team. I was like that with MJ. Yeah. I mean, I'm a fan of the Lakers. I know all the Lakers players. It's not I just know LeBron. I don't know anybody else. I mean, when LeBron was on the Cavs, I mean, I knew all the Cavs players. I watched all their games. I mean, I've always been a big fan of the team that LeBron plays for, not just LeBron. Seems like everyone who stacked players on the early games wins instead of spreading out players. I think it's confusing. Too many options to pick from. I mean, no, it doesn't really matter what time players play. At the end, you're all rostering 8 players. What time they play has no meaning at all. Is it safe to roster players on the trading block such as John Collins? I think, unless we hear otherwise, unless we hear John Collins is out, I'd be, assuming that he was playing. I'm 23. I saw MJ, but they're both GOATs. Yeah, they're both. I mean, MJ is obviously a great basketball player. I just, I'm so young. I wouldn't say I'm so young, but I'm young enough to where I didn't get to watch MJ. I didn't really understand basketball then, like I do now. Maybe I could go back and watch some film or something, but since I've been watching basketball live, LeBron James, the best player I've ever watched. Fouls were different. Today's NBA looks like Euro Soccer. MJ was like ECW. I'm 21. I've watched plenty of MJ's games. I mean, I've never watched MJ's games. Even when I was like, 12, 13, that's when I was probably really starting to get into sports and stuff. And, I just remember watching LeBron playing with a bunch of shitty players on the Cavs back then and playing with the Heat. I still remember watching the Ray Allen hit that three-pointer in my living room. I was screaming, woke my mom up. You think Kyrie is falling off? I mean, shit, Kyrie's still he's a great point guard. He's still a great player. I don't think he's really falling off. Off the field, Kyrie does seem a little odd. He kind of, I was watching his Instagram story today. He was saying some shit. I can't remember what he was saying, but the dude does seem a little odd, odd to be around. But Kyrie's a great basketball player, man. Is there any player that is a must to be in the team today? What you mean, Justin? Like, if I was starting a team today, who would I want? I mean, I think I'd want to start my team with, LeBron or Giannis. I'm like you. I don't pull for certain teams. Kevin Durant's my favorite player, so I root for wherever he goes. Hey, I think that's totally fine, Didi. There's nothing wrong with that. Look, I'm a big Florida State fan. I've been a Florida State fan my whole life, but when it comes to basketball, whatever team LeBron plays for, that's the team I'm a fan of, and that's the way it's always going to be until he retires. I hated that play with Ray Allen. I'm a Spurs fan. Yeah, that's one of those games that I'm just going to remember my entire life. I'm never going to forget that day. Like that game, the Kyrie, game winner over Steph when he hit that step back three in Game 7, the block. I mean, those are just things I'll never forget, man. God, the NBA Finals, like there have just been so many memorable moments, like over these last 5 years with LeBron and stuff. Sabonis Morris or Sabonis Noel? So between Morris or Noel, I mean, I think I'd probably go with Noel, but it's definitely close. Is there any player on the slate today that we must put in? I mean, Justin, I've said this before. There's never must plays. Like, even if a guy projects insanely well for their salary, I mean, there's still things could go wrong. They could get injured, stuff like that. But I think if Taurean Prince is out, Osman's a great value play. I think if Mo Wagner starts, he's a really good value. I like Harden as a spend-up option. Those are just a couple guys I'm looking to. All right, guys, it's about 5 o'clock, so I'm going to wrap up the stream here. I appreciate all you tuning in. We've been live for about an hour, so that's normally how long I go live. Thank you, as always, for being here. Good luck tonight, guys. I wish you the best of luck. If I don't take down a tournament tonight, I hope it's one of you. All right, guys, good luck tonight. Good luck. Let's win some money tonight, baby. Let's go. Good